Right, so I wanted to weigh in after we got more facts, and here we are. So we have Jake Tapper out there trying to monetize how he was allegedly duped by the Biden administration. He was actually complicit in helping cover up Joe Biden's waning mental health, as were many in the legacy media. Only now, with Biden having stepped down, Kamala losing the election, it's now okay for some truth to get out there. And Tapper sees that as an opportunity to make some money. Hey guys, it wasn't the crooked media that was lying to you. We were tricked too. Don't look up all those clips of us shutting down people who question Biden's mental fortitude.
Stage, or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses.
I'm expecting a full-throated public apology at any point. I'm holding my breath from Jake Tapper.
Do you want to apologize to Lara Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
But just as this news is coming out, we get this bombshell. Ex-President Joe Biden diagnosed with metastasized prostate cancer. That means it has spread to the bones, i.e. stage 4 prostate cancer. He doesn't have long. But remember, this version of Joe Biden is the best version of Joe Biden. And, well, if, as he said on The View, Jill Biden said for him on The View, if he stayed in the race, he would have beaten Donald Trump. Oh, but he didn't because, as Nancy Pelosi stated, she's waiting on him to make his decision. That's her forcing him to step down. But had Sleepy Joe not blown that debate, what do you think would have happened? This out-of-nowhere sudden stage 4 prostate cancer diagnosis from a guy who had access to the greatest healthcare in the known universe. Yes, an overnight detection of a slow-growing tumor. Why, it's almost as if the doctors knew about this, but didn't want to say anything because that could ruin some election opportunities there, and maybe the plan was to push Biden through the finish line, get that legacy media running interference for him, quite possibly at the behest of Kamala Harris, who would be waiting for Joe to croak so that she could fully take charge. Depending on how we're looking at this is either the greatest scandal in the history of the presidency, move over Monica, or we could write this off as another bullet dodged, because ultimately no real harm to the country came from this cover-up. I think that the traditional media outlets have shown their cards too many times here. We've called their bluff, and we've been able to actually have those citizen journalists, boots on the ground, those opining creators online, carrying the torch for truth, and in enough numbers that the real people saw what was going on. And had it not been for outlets like YouTube, X, and Facebook changing policies, we probably wouldn't actually be able to say that Biden even lost that debate. Our parents who lap up the evening news would have gleefully voted for Biden, because that guy over there, he's an insurrectionist, so we're told. And within 9 months, we would have President Kamala anyway, with not an eye batted that this is not normal. No, this is the chain of command and the way things are supposed to work. But more importantly, we would have felt happy as we made history and inspired Black Indian girls from Canada, because they have to be shown that they can do anything.
He'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in.
If you appreciate a YouTube channel that doesn't just pad out content to get to the 8-minute mark so that it can hammer you with ad breaks, then you should subscribe to my son's channel. You just got done watching it.